make it right now. Awesome. So welcome. I'm sure everybody saw my email if you're here, but I've turned my Tuesday movement pause into a chakra series. So today is the first one, and we'll be starting with the root chakra. And we're just going to get started in a child's pose. So you can make your way onto your mat and find yourself in a really supported, grounded position. So if you need any props, you can add them here if you want to bring a block under the head or a blanket under the hips to give yourself some more room as we make our way closer to the floor. So once you're in your child's pose, you can also decide if you want your arms in front of you or back behind you, more like a seed pose. And just settle into your breath. Feel your weight as your torso comes onto your thighs. As you inhale, you'll probably feel your upper back expand. And as you exhale, you'll find more space to fall inward. Let the head be heavy. Let the breath be deep, but comfortable. So a breath that feels supportive for you. So our Muladhara chakra is our base chakra. I often think of it being at the pelvic floor, but it also is thought of as through the legs and our whole root system into the ground. So that base that grounds us, it's a place of safety and simplicity in knowing our basic needs. So I also associate this with knowing your yes and your no. So knowing when we have our authentic yes and our authentic no can really check in with those needs. So throughout practice today, throughout these next 25 minutes, I want you to notice if you need to change anything. If you're feeling a yes or you're feeling a no, please honor that. And as we ground down into the support of the earth, I want you to just take 1 minute to notice if there's anything that you want to call into this practice to help you anchor. That could just be setting your intention on your breath or into this place of the body of the lower chakra. Or it could be any other resource that helps you wait, helps you root and anchor. It could be a thought, a mantra, a color. So just take a couple moments to breathe into that question. If there's anything else you want to call here with you. If your arms are behind you, walk them out in front of you to extend long. Hands really reaching far away from you. And then initiate from the seed of your core, tuck the tailbone under and start to lift the hips through a tabletop. And then lower the hips all the way down to the ground. Bend the elbows slightly and lift the heart. So you're coming into a cobra. And then again, feel the effort from your core as you lift the hips back, press into the hands, shift back to child's pose. Just find a flow back and forth at your own pace, lifting the hips, arching the spine as you drop the shoulders away from the ears, and then press into the hands as you wave the spine back, sit the hips back over the heels. So start to integrate all of the pieces of yourself into this movement. We're going to stay low, close to the floor throughout class today, so we can really find that grounding. So notice how you can slide forward and back. Soften the jaw and the throat as you go. Just one more time, waving forward. And then waving back, coming back towards your child's pose. If it feels okay for you, let's pull the knees closer together underneath you so that the spine can drape right over the knees. And then walk your hands off to the left side of the mat. Feel like both sit bones are still reaching away from the top of your mat so that you can find more space in the right side body. So anchor the right hip and anchor the right hand, and then breathe into that rainbow of the side ribs. Let the head be heavy. And then journey through center as you walk your hands off to the right. So now finding that long arc of the left side body, anchor the left hand and anchor the left hip. So the hips aren't rocking to one side, but you're really finding the opening in between the ribs. Breathe into the intercostal muscles, into the armpit. That soften the shoulders, soften the neck. Walk your hands back to center. And I meant to say this at the beginning of class, but if you have a prop, if you have a blanket, here's a great place to grab it and roll it into this shape. So as wide as the short way of your mat. I want you to stay close to the ground if you can here. If you have it, just bring it right behind you so that it's almost touching my toes. And then once you have that prop set up, you're going to tuck your toes in a tabletop and rock back so that the heels can come onto the prop. So we're coming towards our yogi squat. You can widen the feet and let the toes come out a little bit. So I just didn't even want us to come away from the floor to come into this. We're really staying rooting to the floor. If you need to lift your heels a little bit higher, find that adjustment so it works for you. If you can lift your hands off of the ground, hug your elbows into the inside of your knees and bring your hands to heart center. Notice your pelvic floor weighting down towards the earth, opening up into the hips. Keep the breath soft. And if you like to add a head circle here, moving the neck around, you can, but keep it to the speed of your breath. So one breath per circle of the head. Keep it simple. And move the other way if you're circling the neck. Good. Lower the hands back down to the floor. And bring your knees down. And then roll onto your side and onto your back. If you have that roll of your blanket, keep it close by. And if you have a yoga block, keep it close by. So when you have all of your things next to you, you'll make your way down into the center of your space, find your spine onto the floor, bend your knees so the feet can come heels to bum, knees up to the sky. Turn your hands so that they're up towards the sky, palms open, to help have a little bit more rotation and softness across the collarbone. The heart center is receptive as we notice all of the places that are touching the floor. And notice how it changes as we breathe. If any little thing is moving, maybe the back ribs expand as we inhale. And as we exhale, we can feel the head get heavier, the pelvis get heavier. Now, if you have that prop, if you don't, no worries, but if you have your yoga block, bring it between your thighs. And if you have a roll, you can bring that between your thighs too. So you just want your knees tracking over your toes. It's nice to have this prop just as an awareness of our inner thighs. So if you don't have it, you'll still find that intention. Keep the palms up, spread the toes. Inhale into the belly. Exhale, curl the tailbone under, press into the feet, lift up to bridge. Inhale as you roll down. Keep flowing up and down with the speed of your breath, lifting up on the exhale, feeling the knees really pull over the toes, and then soften the back of the heart, the mid-back, and the pelvis all the way down. As you go, I would love if you could bring your intention into the inner line of the legs. So as you press into the feet, the strength of the earth rises up through the heels, through the inside of the shins, the knees, the thighs, all the way into the pelvis. So trace that line in your mind's eye as you lift up, finding that resource of the ground as you press into it, and it stabilizes you all the way up to the pelvic floor. So if you don't have the prop, imagine you have a ball between the knees and it's gently squeezing towards one another so the knees don't fall open. Good, let's do one more. Hold at the top this time. Squeeze into the prop if you have it. Soften the shoulders a little bit more. Soften the jaw a little bit more. Tuck the tailbone a little bit higher. And feel one more cycle of breath. Complete your exhale. Inhale again, and then roll down through the spine. Keep the prop between the knees if you have it. Clasp the hands behind the head. Lift the elbows gently off of the ground. Lift the knees and the shins off of the ground so that your shins are parallel to the floor. Flex the toes towards the face. Inhale with the spine on the ground. Exhale, curl the head, neck, and shoulders off of the ground to look towards your knees. Inhale to stay. Exhale, twist towards the left leg. Right elbow to left knee. Inhale back to center. Keep the head up, pull the belly down. Exhale, twist towards the right. Inhale to center. Exhale to twist. Now finding the support of our lower core, this powerhouse, as we go side to side. So continue. Inhaling at center. Exhaling to find your twist. Feeling your transverse abs, your low abs, which I also associate with our root chakra because they're so foundational. Let's do one more round, finishing to the right. So finish off cycles so you're even from side to side. Come back to center. This time, stay up. Exhale, tuck the tailbone a little bit higher. Lift the head a little bit higher. Squeeze everything and flex the toes. One more breath. Wide across the back. Exhale, squeeze a little bit higher. Tuck the tailbone. And then gently lower the head. Gently lower the feet. Remove the prop. Keep the back on the floor. You can lay on the hands wherever you like, either by your side or on your belly. And start to tap your toes. So lift one toe and then the next. Start to tap your feet as fast as you can. So the heels are still anchoring into the floor, flexing the toes up. Just activate the front of the shins. So again, this power all the way up from the feet. This resource that helps us walk, helps us move through the world in a really simple way. So keep tapping as fast as you can. Let your feet drop and then rise back up. Tap, 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 tap. And then let that go. Scoot your heels as close to your sit bones as you can. And then just lift one heel and then the next. Again, tapping, feeling the knees, walking side to side, maybe running side to side. Lift the heels as high as you can. So you're activating your calf muscles. Beautiful. Let the heels come down. Now lift the toes and just tap them side to side. So left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Bring the toes back to center. Tap the heels, left, right, lifting them through the center, all the way up. Good. Extend your legs up overhead and circle the feet. All the way around. Nice and juicy circles. And then let's circle the other direction. Good. Let the feet fall towards you, knees wide. Reach through the inside of the knees to the outside of the feet. Lift the heels up for happy baby. Sometimes I find this position just as a little stretch before Shavasana and don't really dive into it. So I want you to take a longer moment to settle into the foundation of this pose. Can you find a foundation and a safety in joy as well? The idea of a happy baby. If you want to move, you can move. If you want to sit in it, you can. But what's foundational in this pose? Feeling held. Gently release the feet. Roll onto your side. And then roll it back to tabletop. Let's check in the time. Okay, great. So finding yourself balanced over your wrists, balanced over your knees, maybe rocking side to side to really find that for yourself, spreading the fingers wide. Extend the right leg behind you. Have the toes tucked at first and just rock forward and back off of that leg. Keep it simple and notice the line of the leg. So imagine there's this beam of light all the way through the heel, through the knee, and up to the hip socket. It's really alive and activated. And then lift the leg off of the ground and start to move it however you're called to move. This could be landing back with the intention of simplicity, maybe just curling the knee under and back out if you're looking for some more core strength, or circling the hip if it's feeling really tight from sitting at a desk, or any other movement that's maybe not in a certain curriculum, but finding that exploration of your root. So drawing your own map of your root system here. Our roots reaching for nutrients, for water, for fluidity. And if you want to incorporate the arms into this too, finding that full embodiment. So even as we're focusing on the roots, they bring nourishment up to the top, into all of the limbs. It helps us grow. Gently lower the right knee down, sit back onto the heels, and let's circle out the wrists. Just take a break off of the hands for a sec. Circle the fingers one direction, and then the next. Whenever you're ready, come back to your tabletop. Extend the left leg, tucking the toes under first, keeping the left hip wrapping down so the hips are squared off, and then start to rock forward and back. Feel the line of your leg right through the center, so through the bone. And then once you've landed your mind into the leg, your focus there, start to lift it up and move through your own exploration. So Maybe if you did a specific thing on one side, try to do it on this side as well so that you're evened off a little bit. But also honor how your left and right can be different. If you're called to do something specific, you can notice those needs, noticing your yes and your no. Keep your breath involved. A long, deep, supported breath. So think of the breath as your base. It's that first stone as you stack everything up on top of it. And then once it's there, the root can grow and explore. Lower the left leg back down. Have the toes tucked under. Walk the hands a little bit wider than the shoulders. So maybe the pinkies are touching the outside of the mat. And then widen the knees a little bit too, so the feet are wider than the hips. And lift the hips up to a wide down dog. You can have slightly bent knees here if you like. And we're gonna stay here for a few breaths. I like this wide down dog because it feels more supported with the points further away. You can find the balancing point right in the center, that fulcrum. If the shoulders are tight, offering them more space. And same with the hips. Land into the sensation of the breath. Gently lower the knees back down. And come back into a seat. So this can be any kind of seat that you like, wherever you feel comfortable, and you can find your tall spine. You can have your legs folded underneath you. You can use props sitting on a blanket. And just let your hands come onto your thighs. You can close your eyes if you feel comfortable with that, or just soften the vision out in front of you. Bring your breath into the legs and that connection down at the pelvic floor. And feel your weight. So if you can release any gripping in the legs or the hip sockets, that can help you give yourself into the floor and feel held. So we all need support. And the Muladhara chakra can remind us of that. That there is foundation in our weight. Your breath is foundation. Your heartbeat is foundation. Your boundaries are also your yes and your no. Your foundation to grow on. Feel yourself reside in this lower part of yourself and in this weight for just another moment. Bring your hands to heart center. You can choose if you like palm to palm, palm over heart. Breathe wide across the front of your chest. As you exhale, feel your weight fall into your pelvis, your tall spine stacking everything neatly into this beautiful column. Bow your head towards your heart. Thank yourself for your practice today, for showing up and landing in your intention, noticing your breath, your sensations. And I invite you to continue listening to your yes and your no as a simple practice to follow what your needs are. And thank you so much for letting me offer my thoughts today. The light in me honors the light in you. Thank you.